All right, everybody. Now it's episode 2 of the Squid Kids review, and this time we are going to Famous Days. Hey. And we got our special guest, East Coast Molasses Boy Andy Hyun, also aka Onesie Boy.
Onesie Boy.
I am wearing a onesie right now.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Famous Dave's. Let me throw some facts at you guys about
Did you look up
the restaurant. I did look up some data. Okay. Fun fact, there is a guy, Famous Dave Anderson. He is Native American.
Native American?
Whoa.
Yes. They have over 100 stores in the U.S. and they have over 700 awards won for their barbecue.
Wow.
Yes. It's all stated on their website.
I had no idea.
He's also served in the government on the Council for Native American Relationships and all that stuff. So he's actually pretty famous. The name fits. So also
we got some history.
We got some history. We got some history with this restaurant. I think I've personally, first time we went 10 plus years ago.
Has it been that long?
Yeah,
13
definitely.
years maybe.
Probably 2005, I would say.
Wow.
Roughly around that time, yeah.
Same for you guys. And
yeah, I want to say the first time we found out about it was when I think Adam's family took us, right? It was either for Adam's birthday or just to try it.
Might have been something along those lines. Yeah, I definitely discovered it through someone else.
Future guest, Broken Knee Boy.
Brittle Bones? No, Mr. Bonitis.
Sorry,
just a little. Okay. Enough about Adam. Let's go back to the restaurant.
Brittle Bones.
Onto the restaurant. So, they're a pretty much barbecue place. Meats, pork, beef.
Did it have anything
ribs,
they're famous for specifically?
Chicken. I think it's just all
their barbecue in general.
Yeah, all barbecue.
Specifically, like what piece of barbecue would it be?
No, I think it's just overall. I mean, you gotta remember it is a chain also, so.
So you guys have had it a few times. What's your favorite dish at this location?
So my combo, the go-to combo, was actually the cheapest one, and it was the $9.99 rib tips and 2 sides.
Yep.
And I would always get double fries just because I like fries so much.
Oh, they did have. It was not fries. It was potato wedges.
Potato wedges, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of potato wedges, but their potato wedges were always done very well.
Seasoned very well.
Fried well too. Had a nice crispy. Ooh.
Absolutely. And it comes with the cornbread too, I believe.
True.
I can't remember. I think it does.
I'm sure it does.
I have fond memories of the cornbread.
And yes, I never strayed. I think I strayed once from the double fries.
Depending on how much money one spent.
Yeah. I know. I always love the rib tips. They're really good.
No, it is good.
They're very saucy.
Absolutely.
And Famous Days has, I think, over 4 different sauces. They have the sweet and tangy. They have the devil spit.
Devil spit was my favorite.
They have mild. Yeah, so a wide variety of different barbecue sauces. And, we'd always just come over here and have a good time and eat good food. But I don't know. It seems like after that we kind of started exploring out more.
I think because I think as you grow up, like when you're young, the only thing you know is like the big names, and then once you're kind of more comfortable about what you like and what you like to eat, then you kind of explore like the smaller options, the mom and pop shops.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say in this area Famous Dave is like huge though. I think there's only 2 stores.
I don't even know
Maryland.
this location, to be honest.
There's like Laurel and Columbia, so it's nothing like this
right.
huge place. So.
And they're very far apart.
All right, Bachano, what's your favorite one here?
I was on any side. I do rib tips too because I also didn't have very much money. I didn't really work and I don't get allowance or bullshit like that. So I didn't have much money. So whatever I can scrounge, it would be rib tips. But once in a while, I would get brisket. I do remember the brisket being good. I think it was served on like a Texas toast. Like
no.
It was white bread, but it was like it was a little thicker.
Right.
That's what Texas toast is, right? Like a slicer, like whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was. Anyways.
You know, for me, garlic mashed potatoes all day, every day. I don't care about any other food. Give me garlic mashed potatoes and we're good.
Y'all slept on the beans, man. They had really good beans, dude.
Are they as good as the garlic mashed potatoes? I can't say. I've never had garlic mashed potatoes anywhere else that's even come close.
It's been a while. And I think they had a jalapeno mac and cheese also.
Oh yeah!
That one was really good too. I wish they gave more.
I don't know what I'm going to choose anymore.
So I think today we can
more.
probably get a bunch of everything and try it out and share with each other.
Maybe have
and see what's
we'll
good.
see what they have for appetizers and see what kind of options we can get.
Okay,
but we have some heavy expectations.
Well,
the thing is, like, my biggest concern, I do have concern because when we did go here, we were young and your taste buds are not really developed. And you don't really, you have an idea what you like, but when you're young, your tastes are simpler. But now that we've become older, like, again, it's been 10 years.
It's been a while.
I think the last time I went to Famous Days was maybe 2000. It's been maybe 5 or 6 years. It's been a long time.
It has been quite some time. I'm trying to recall the last time I went, and I don't know if it was with you guys.
Probably even longer. Maybe more like 6 or 7 years.
It's been a really long time.
But I think we
came to this exact one because it was the same thing. Like we wanted to go for nostalgia. What ended up happening though is we had absolutely horrid service. I don't know if you guys remember.
I remember.
If the service is bad, you gotta.
It did make a big difference.
Yeah,
it's gonna bring it down.
Yeah.
It was like, to be fair, we went like close to closing. It was kind of bad on that part too, but
still,
it was a negative experience.
I think we ended up tipping her like $1 or something.
We did not do much.
Yeah.
And you guys said I'm a poor tipper. Come on. Yeah, exactly. Get out of here.
That's a story for another time, guys.
Hey, come on. I was easily as justified as you guys.
No.
Okay.
Well.
Whatever. Moving on. I have an important question to ask you guys. Do you think this place is as good as Suey's?
With their fucking saltwater water.
Oh my
god. Okay, I just had to throw that out there just for you guys.
Quick background. Suey's is a chain of barbecue. Oh, is it a chain?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's not a chain.
I just gotta say it was the best barbecue place in Outer Banks.
It was in Outer Banks. It was in Corolla, Outer Banks, North Carolina.
It was like a hole-in-the-wall barbecue place.
Yeah.
Like that. I just remember that joint being like the water. Like, can you get some water? That joint is fucking like.
Dude, everywhere had
sandy water.
Everywhere had salt water. Come on.
You had to get.
Everywhere did have.
Everywhere had salt water. You had to get soda. That was the thing.
I think the water threw me off the most, and after that, just ruined everything else.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would give it a second try.
Swears by Suey's, but everyone else had a real
one day,
experience.
Suey's review for real.
You're gonna
real review. We're gonna drive 10+ hours, however long it takes, 6 hours, 5 hours, however long it took.
Oh my god.
8 hours.
Part 2.
Suey's, the real review.
Suey's, the reckoning.
But today
saltwater fiasco.
Today is not about Suey's. It's about Famous Dave. So I think we're just gonna go in, get some rib tips.
Maybe some brisket.
I think I might go ham on this meal.
Okay.
Yeah, we're older. We have a bit more money. I think we can explore the menu a little bit more now.
I think so.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be exciting.
Sounds good. All right.
In the mountains of Tennessee, they like the smoky sauce. But over there in old Memphis, a dry rub rib is boss. The folks down in Georgia, they can't make up their mind. You can give it to them sweet or spicy, and they'll say that tastes alright. And you might think the South Carolinians are just a little bit off. Would you believe their barbecue's yellow with a mustard sauce? Pork shoulder is the cut of choice in Mississippi, and they pride themselves on barbecue that's totally vinegary. In Louisiana, them Cajuns, they like to spice it up. They like to spice it up. This is our review of barbecue in the southern United States. And when my life is through, bury me in barbecue, but make sure it's vinegar based, cause you know that slows decay, and it's a style from our home state of North Carolina. Hello!
So, we just finished Famous Dave's. I think we can all say that it was a very good experience.
I agree.
Yeah.
There were some mishaps here and there.
We'll get into it.
And then we're going to get into it. So,
we'll start top to bottom.
Start from top to bottom.
I'll talk about my drink real quick because I know what I drink. It was a black and blue mule, which was essentially a Moscow mule, but it seemed like they put like blackberry juice, like blackberries in it. It was a nice little twist. It was refreshing. It was a good drink. Thumbs up. Not too sweet.
How many squids?
Oh, we do. I'm sorry.
I think
we do individual ratings on every item.
Yeah,
Okay.
then a total rating at the end. Yes.
I would give the Black Butte Mule a.
The Black and Buell Mule.
I said Black and Blue. Oh shit. I give it 4 squids. It was a good
4
drink.
squids. Okay.
I will get it again.
I gotta say, it looked very good. It looked very good.
I did have a little bit of his drink, and
you got the nice ginger beer and the vodka. And
good carbonation.
just the blackberries.
And I'm a big fruity drink guy, so I thought it was pretty solid.
Not too sweet, right? It was like just not a good amount of sweetness.
Yeah.
Good. So on to the appetizers. We got 2. It was the cheese curds.
Cheese curds and the burnt butts is what they call it.
Burnt butts.
Which kind of like the end pieces of like ribs or something.
Let's talk about the cheese curds first.
The cheese curds, being a cheese freak.
Super freak.
It's kind of what you expect. It's just cheese curds that are fried. The nice part about like Bo Chow brought up, it's not like it's similar to a mozzarella stick in the sense that it's breading and cheese, but what makes it superior than the mozzarella stick is that it is more cheese to breading ratio.
Yes.
It's a better ratio.
Huge,
sometimes you'll get like a mozzarella stick and it feels like it's eating so much bread. And usually, I think for mozzarella sticks too, like the marinara sauce is a big carrier. For the cheese curds, you don't need. It came with a sauce. What was the sauce?
Horserashes.
Was it horserashes?
Horserashes.
Some kind of ranch sauce or.
It was like ranch.
No,
I don't think it was horserashes.
I don't think it was ranch.
It was not horserashes.
Okay, maybe I'm
like
wrong. Maybe I'm just like completely.
It was like a zesty kind of ranch, like they added stuff to it or something like that.
Isn't that horserashes?
No.
Huh.
Okay. We're deviating, but
Fucking.
back to the cheese curds. It had a really nice texture on the outside. The way I would describe it is similar to that of a fish stick, but not the crumb kind of breading. It was just
more
batter.
It was a batter. It wasn't flaky. It wasn't like breadcrumbs. It was like batter. It was good because it was a light batter. It wasn't anything like. It was more. It was like a good maybe 90 to 10% ratio between cheese and batter.
It was also on sale. There was a special.
Oh, it was
$5 originally, $10 I believe.
Deal for that.
Good value.
Which I might add also, it was a nice addition for the appetizer that they give you little tongs.
Yes, so you can share with friends.
You can share with friends. It was perfect for sharing. A nice little cheese bite. Yeah.
So I'm not a cheese guy, but I gotta say that thing was pretty delicious.
You can't go wrong with $5.
It legitimately, when I first bite into it and like I bit past the batter part, got to the cheese part, and literally my mouth felt full of cheese.
It was very cheesy.
I don't know if you guys felt that. Like you bite through it, and like the rest of the cheese expands in your throat almost, and you like get
because cheese curds itself by nature it's gummy.
Yes.
So once you start chewing it, it like spreads.
It literally felt like I was deep throating cheese. Which I mean, I'm not a big cheese guy, but it tasted great with the sauce. So I gotta say that's a good one. So out of 5 squids, I'm gonna go with like a 3.8 for that one. Definitely above average. If it was something more to my liking, I'd give it higher. But you know, I still crushed 3 pieces. Andy?
I'm just gonna keep it simple. I think if you like cheese and you like battered fried stuff, you're gonna have a great time.
Can't go wrong
with this.
You cannot go wrong.
Great value. I think for the full price, you know, it was a bit of on the steep side at full price.
$8?
Yeah, $8, $9. But I think since we got it at a value of $5, I'm gonna give it 4 squids.
4 squids, nice.
Yeah.
Chana?
4 squids.
Yeah, with value, when you think about value, I said it's with the value of $5, you can't go wrong. It's great. At $7, $8, you kind of have to be in the mood for it. You know what I mean? Because it is a very cheesy thing. That said, I will have to say that cheese curds as a whole, it does have a bit of a ceiling to it. So it can only get so good because it's a relatively simple, like as far as cheese goes, like quality in cheese curds, I don't think there's too much variance. Maybe that's just my opinion.
Sure.
That in mind, with cheese curds having a ceiling, I'm gonna have to give it a 3.8.
Same score, nice. Great minds think
like
alike.
I said, I am a cheese freak, But I understand there's limitations to the dish like that. It's just what it is. There's limitations.
On to the burnt butts.
The burnt butts, which was, the end pieces of ribs, I believe, is what it was.
Yes.
And it did have, sorry, yeah.
When we got the plate, and I saw fried onion
fried
straws.
onion straws.
Fried onion straws on that. Oh my god! It just,
baby.
It brought the excitement level up from like a 5 to a 20. So, the reason is we ordered the dish and we were like, okay, it's probably gonna be like 10 pieces of meat or something like that. Piece of meat. It was one section of meat,
which was quite a bit of meat.
Quite a bit of meat.
Quite a bit of meat.
And then quite a bit of onion straws.
Quite a bit of. It was like the plate was maybe like 40% beef, and then 60% onions, which is nothing wrong at all.
Let's not forget the spicy peppers.
The peppers.
Sweet spicy peppers.
Sure, good addition, nice color.
If you're a pepper freak.
If you're a pepper freak, sure.
A little bit of a different taste. That's contrast to it.
They did a little sweet, like those.
I gotta say that dish was mighty fine. The meat was nice and moist, juicy, and the onion straws. Although for me, I wish the onions were bigger. They were still great. If I didn't have to share.
Let me give my review first before I want.
I'm just saying, if I didn't have to share with you guys, I wouldn't even know about onion straw myself. So
I'll go. Let me go first.
All right, go for it.
Quickly, the sauce on the burnt butts, it was different from the sauce they have at the table. It was different. Well, it was kind of like it wasn't. It was kind of sweet, but it was like kind of.
I didn't
taste
salty.
too
much
to me,
of a sweet.
It seemed a little. It was a little salty, but it seemed a little syrupy to me.
So it's thicker.
I think they laid
maybe some molasses.
Oh, oh my god! Jesus Christ! You just throw me off.
Dripping out of your mouth.
Like spilling out of your mouth. That's like Savannah accent. Anyways, oh my god, what the fuck was I saying?
Something about the sauce, right?
Yeah, the sauce to me, it seemed to be a little too thick, and it seemed a little bit too syrupy. Onion straws are always gonna be good. You can't go wrong with fried onions for the most part. That's always good, and onion straws itself, nice crispy texture. Since it's thin, I'm sure it flash fries quickly, which is nice. I give it 3.9 squids again. It was very solid.
Higher than the curds.
And also, you also got to remember that we got it on a deal for $5. And I think even at full price, it's worth paying.
It was a lot.
Let me ask you this really quick. Is this, are we including, are we doing the whole dish collectively, including the straws? Or are we doing
I'm doing straws too. I'm adding straws too because to me, it was a pivotal part to it. Because it's a texture thing too. You got the softness of the meat versus the crispiness of the texture.
What about when you got that piece?
Oh, yes! I had a piece of meat, and underneath the meat was a medallion.
It was hidden.
It was a medallion of fried onion. It wasn't even on straw. It was like the end slice of an onion that's at the very top that was fried the same way. Ooh, it was a crispy treat.
That was
nice.
You get the gems in
I picked it up. I like stabbed at the meat. I looked at it. I was like, the fuck is this? Like, oh, it's onion. I ate. I was like, whoa. That's nice.
Game changer.
It was a nice contrast, yes.
All right, Andy, your review?
So at first sight of it, I thought it looked really good. Had a nice glaze to it. The onion straws, again, added a bit to that. I think if it was solely just the burnt ends thing, even for $5, I would have been like, But I think with the addition of the onion straws and the sweet hot peppers,
seems like we're all...
it collectively came together,
I think it seems like as an all from what we were saying, the onion strings does help.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you can view it as a negative point or not, but I think it's just a nice addition. Just kind of just adds the cherry on top kind of thing. It's like a little extra something that, like I said, it's not. I used the word it's unnecessary, but that wasn't the correct word. It was more like it's unnecessary for them to do it. There's no reason for them to do it because it costs them more money.
We need to find the word for
that. But they add more to it.
Even excessive wouldn't be the correct word.
Excessive is not the word either. Because I use excessive, that's not the correct word either.
It's like an added bonus that,
I think.
Like a bonus, I guess.
Generous.
Basically.
I think they're generous
they were
about
very
it. I think that's
generous.
that's a good. They're generous.
It was definitely unexpected.
Yeah, because okay, you buy the meat and you don't expect there to be anything additional. Like this is appetizer, you get the meat. Yeah, it's like getting like a mini sampler, like a mini platter.
It was a legit dish. It was a legit entree.
Let me see what else. There were parts where it was. I felt kind of like it was overly glazed, and this is coming from the sauce.
See what I mean?
This was coming from the sauce guy too. As a result, it was a bit overwhelming, because they weren't all big morsels of meat that we had. There were some that were little shavings that had been clipped off,
Right.
I mean, it is the end.
Right,
It's kind of like the waste product.
So during those bites, I thought the sauce was a little bit overwhelming, a little bit too saucy. I think it's because of the thickness of it.
Yeah, the sauce was a little heavy.
And it was kind of salty. The peppers were really, really good though.
Nice.
They weren't.
It's a cutter.
Right. They weren't too spicy. They had a bit of sweetness into them, so I think they were pickling or in some kind of juice.
It could have been like a pickle, but like a sweet brine.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Like they add sugar to it.
I think overall, I'm gonna give it 3.5 squids.
Not
3.5 squids. Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'm gonna change my score to 3.6.
Okay.
I think I was a little too generous.
Too generous.
I was a little too generous. Like Famous Dave's, they were too generous.
Okay.
Wait,
So, you guys brought up some good points, but you guys don't consider, 1, it's $5.
I did
2,
consider that.
onion straws. 3, onion straws. 4, onion straws, and 5 onion straws.
Those are the 5 greatest rappers of all time.
Onion straw.
Onion straw. So, with that in mind, because it was such a great surprise with that dish, I'm going to go pretty high. I'm going to say it was a 4.2 squids for that dish.
Wow.
Yes, the sauce was more thicker and salty than you would like, but it wasn't anything unmanageable for me.
Yeah.
If it was a dish that I was eating by myself and I didn't have to share it, I would completely destroy the dish no matter what. So,
Okay, 4.2 you said?
4.2 for that one.
We just did a quick run through of the sauces that they have on the table. That's very important. I think it's important. I use the sauces.
Okay, I didn't. use
Well,
any
a
sauces.
quick tip too.
I'm a bit of a sauce
If you
fan.
guys do get this cheese and burnt butts platter, or if you get or if you just get the burnt butts, if you get the sauce that that came with the cheese curds, that is
Use
a
it for the onion
really good
straws.
addition to the onion straws,
Yes.
even though it's on 2 completely separate things.
I swear that thing was horseradish, but
It was not. Horseradish should be spicy.
So just a hint if you guys want some sauce to your to the already delicious onion straws. So yeah.
Okay, so if you guys want to break down
The
sauces,
sauce real quick. So they got the 4 basic sauce that you usually have. It was Georgia mustard, sweet and sassy. What was
Yep,
it?
sweet and sassy.
something spit, devil's
Devil's spit.
Sweet and zesty, or something.
No,
and
you already
zesty?
said sweet and tasty.
No, I said sweet and sassy, whatever.
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
the sassy one.
There's
and
a
then
zesty one,
There's a
definitely.
zesty and sweet one, whatever that's called. So
Uh-huh.
that's the 4 ones they had for a long time. But they had 2 new additions. It was Wilbur's Revenge and Texas Pit.
I gotta say that name is just very good.
It's pretty good. It's a good name. Yeah. So Texas Pit was like it was more vinegary. It was still like that kind of sweet barbecue sauce. And I know there's people out there who don't like the sweet barbecue sauce very much. And they prefer vinegar over it. But I think that was a decent middle ground between the sweet and the vinegary, because the vinegary is, I think, a vinegar sauce for barbecue. In my opinion, it's better because it adds, it kind of enhances the meat more. Rather a sweet sauce kind of overpowers the taste of the meat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like at that point, if you're using too much sweet sauce, the meat's more like a vehicle for the sauce. You know what I mean? And then the Wilbur's Revenge one, definitely much hotter than the Devil's Spit. And it had that bitter hot pepper taste. I can't explain it, but if you ever had like a ghost pepper or Carolina Reaper pepper,
The sea taste.
it
I
has
wouldn't even
that-
say
it has that bitterness. It has,
I would just say a very, very fresh jalapeno. It just has that raw flavor to it.
You're crazy. It was not jalapeno.
I didn't say it was jalapeno.
No, it
it's
didn't
akin to eating a
No.
bite into a fresh.
You're saying it was crisp?
It was like that crisp,
You mean the
raw,
heat?
bitter taste to it.
I guess.
Of a pepper itself.
Okay.
Okay, maybe a habanero.
I'm
Habanero.
saying like the
I don't think it's a ghost pepper though.
It's not a ghost pepper, but it's like something like similar. Where like the ghost pepper is like when you eat it, it's like it's just like straight bitter hot, and that sauce had like that bitterness to it, which they balanced it well because they added sweetness to it. So you do sweet in the beginning, but then it creeps kind of at a pretty deep, like it sleeps a little bit and it kind of shoots up. I want to say pretty quick, but at a pretty exponential rate. So let's start from the top.
Start from the top.
Everybody got brisket, I believe.
I didn't
No,
get
folks, I
brisket,
didn't get
but I
brisket.
did
You
taste
didn't
it.
get
brisket.
I did taste it. So let's go with brisket first. What are you guys' thoughts?
Brisket seemed a little different. It seemed to be a little bit more like, what's that word?
Let me think of what you're thinking. I want to say it was more brittle.
Not brittle, no. It's more like fibery. Like the you know how meat has like fibers and shit attached to it.
Right.
Like some like
the reason I say brittle is because you broke it. You would like bite into it, and you would get the fibers because the meat split open so quickly.
But not in a good way, in my opinion. So like the first bite I had to bite it. It didn't fall apart really because the meat came off easy, but the fibers, like the connective tissue between the meat, kind of made it a little bit more of a hassle.
Okay.
I'm sure. I don't think you guys saw me kind of struggling the first bite, but to me that's what happened. That was a little bit annoying, but I think it is what I remember it to be. What do you think, Andrew?
I thought it was different. I remember previously when getting brisket, it was a little bit, I wouldn't say thicker, but like the cuts of it were taller, I would say. I don't know.
Taller? You mean thicker?
Wait, no, not in terms
longer?
of thickness. No, in terms of like height.
That's thickness.
Okay, I guess thickness then. Well, because you know how there's thickness between cuts, different cuts. Like if you cut it like a piece this thick, like sideways, there's that thickness too.
That's
I get what you mean. Wait, no. So there's length and there's thickness and there's width.
Well, there's thickness between
thickness
cuts
would be
too.
like this.
Thickness would be how thick they decide to cut it, right?
But there's also like the height.
About height.
The height is the width.
Okay, the width.
The width of the piece of meat if you lay it on the
yes.
ground. Okay, so the width.
No, he was talking more like you have the width of how big the piece of meat is.
No, that's the length. That's how long it is.
The
width is the other side.
I failed math numerous times all throughout grade school and college, so my length, width, height stuff I do get confused. But yeah, so it was a bit smaller on that end.
I thought it was okay. Oh,
but this is compared to what I remember previously. But starting from scratch again, I thought my pieces were really, really good. It had a nice bit of fat to it, so it's very, very moist. It came pre-sauced. I'm not sure which sauce they used, but it did come pre-sauced.
I don't think it used. It may have been pre-sauced.
No, it was definitely pre-sauced.
Before? That's what I thought. Yeah.
So we got that, and you know, I would say it came, and I genuinely liked it. It was moist. It wasn't overtly salty or anything like that. I think the sauce complemented it well.
I will say, for me personally, when it comes to meats like brisket or pork, I prefer to be non-sauced. Because
you want to put your own sauce.
Yes, correct.
In my opinion, when I had the brisket, I was fearful that it would be really dry.
Yes,
but
because it is. Brisket is generally smoked for a long time.
Yes, it looked a bit dry, but honestly, I did like the fact that it broke apart easier, even though there were fibers. I've had some really bad brisket in the past where it would just be so tough and so hard to eat. When you're chewing it just doesn't even taste like brisket.
It's more work than it is pleasure.
Yes, but I think, in my opinion, they did a fairly good job with it. It was moist. I didn't care too much about the sauce. I didn't even know they would sauce it. I just ate a piece and it was fine, but it wasn't really my
When it comes to tasting meat, you want to try it without anything on it first.
I did notice that was the food that both of you ate the least of.
Brisket?
Yes.
I mean, I saved it. I saved, like, it was 4 pieces on the bread, I believe, right? 4?
Yeah, 4 to 5 pieces.
And I saved half it on purpose for food for later.
Same with you?
Yeah, same with me.
Okay. So it wasn't because the brisket was bad.
No,
you wanted to save
also,
it.
we had a lot of food on our plate, so
That's
I want to make sure I eat a little bit of everything.
Makes sense. So let me give my score out first as just a bystander, the brisket bystander. I would say 3.5. 3.5 squids. I'll give it 2 tentacles because I do enjoy that kind of, flakier, I guess, brisket, where it's easier to fall apart. Yes.
Real quick for me, I'll say 3.7.
3.7.
3.7.
Okay.
3.7. I agree with Bochow. 3.5 plus 2 tentacles.
That's fair. I think it's fair.
Reason being, especially for being a chain, I'm sure you can get good brisket at a lot of places.
But for being a chain,
it was pretty solid.
It's quite solid. Okay.
The other thing we have to consider maybe is the time we go to this kind of restaurant. Brisket usually has a long time of cooking, so there might be a window of time where we're not getting maybe the freshest.
That is a very important part about barbecue itself.
Yes. So
there's a window.
It's so hard to tell when.
We did get here at what, 8 something?
We got here maybe
later.
around 8 or so,
Yeah, a little
maybe
later.
7:38.
Like we finished up before 10.
Think about they have 10 hours to cook a brisket.
Yeah.
They're usually cooking it the night before,
And I'm sure it's
or they're cooking it throughout the day.
since
or
it's a
something
large
like
chain.
that.
I'm sure it's like already pre-done for
like
a while. Who knows?
right before we came, I was watching them talk about. I was watching a barbecue cook-off show where they talk about briskets and how long it takes. They do it overnight.
It's out of work.
Throughout the day, yeah. We don't know
It's a
what
work of
cut.
art.
We don't know what
Shit.
cut we're getting.
Yeah.
Right.
One other thing on the brisket, I didn't get any like char or anything.
Yeah.
On the
No,
top.
brisket's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
there was nothing.
It's a long smoking process.
Yeah, there wasn't
so it's not gonna
anything
get
like.
done. Usually,
I didn't see if there were any smoke rings. Either,
Yeah,
though.
exactly. There wasn't anything that was like crazy.
I'm sure there would.
This is a great brisket that I would like to eat all the time. It was decent. Like I don't want to say it was bad, but it just wasn't a brisket I would eat.
Yeah.
Like I would just go out to look
Yeah.
for.
All right.
Basically.
Let's move on. Real quick. I know you got the Georgia pork.
We both
So
got
we'll
pork.
do that real quick. Georgia pork. I did want to bring this up after we did the last segment, but some of our food did come out not at the best temperature. That was quite a bit of a negative impact.
None of my food.
Yeah,
my
I mean,
food was
we'll go into each
perfect.
individual- when we get to
Yeah,
those
we'll
dishes,
talk
we'll get to
about it.
those
I think
dishes,
it's
but-
mostly sides,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's because of you had the platter, the big platter, so you got a little bit of everything. And yours
It's
probably
the
took a
same
little longer. It's the
food.
same food, but you had more stuff. You had like 2 to 3 more
I
pieces
had
of
two
meat.
different pieces of meat.
Yes. So my pork was a little bit more in the room temperature, a little colder than I would like it to be. It was a little dry. It was a little dry. I do wish it was a little bit more saltier and a little bit more moist. It was pre-sauced again. I already said how I felt about things being pre-sauced, but it was not bad. That's what I'll say for now.
And did you
Andy,
taste
you
the
had
pork?
I did have a
of it.
taste of it. It was a little bit dry. I think the sauce on there was just okay.
Yep.
I'd say, yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't anything special, to be honest.
I think I have a little bit more thoughts on this pork. So I've had these kind of, pulled pork and stuff like that where you bite into it, it feels like the moisture is actually being sucked out of your mouth of how
Yes.
dry that is.
Mhm.
I don't think that was the case in this point. It had just enough moisture that I kept eating it, and I felt comfortable eating it. But I hate the fact that there's a stupid piece of bread that goes along with it. That is like when I get to a Chinese restaurant, ask for a platter, and there's a single slice of bread that goes with your food. It literally, it pisses me off that there's one single slice of bread with food. And like, yes, I ate it, but I felt cheapened.
I do wonder why it's there. I don't understand the purpose of the bread.
It's just one of those things.
Because if anything, the bread will be.
It's like they give you half a sandwich.
It will be
It's
not even that.
insulting.
It'll be an instrument for it to soak up the juice from the meat, which is what I don't want.
I don't.
I
I
think
don't.
it's just like a barbecue thing.
It
that
is
gives
a
you
barbecue
the
thing,
white
but I
bread,
think
yeah.
it is the stupidest concept. I hate any place like that gives you bread like that. Guess where places that
So it's
doesn't
a
give you
personal
bread?
preference
Let me tell you, Suey's will not give you bread with their pulled pork or pulled
and their
chicken.
fucking salt water
I'm just
bullshit.
saying.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, back on the point. So,
Gotta run through this.
it was edible. Yes, great. Let me go ahead and say 3.2 squids.
Okay.
3.2 squids?
Andy, you want to go real quick?
3 squids.
I'm going to have to give it 3 squids as well.
Okay.
3 squids.
It was average. Very
Yeah,
average.
pretty average.
So, Andy, Andy, do your rib tips real quick.
Rib tips. Just upon getting my plate, I noticed right away it was different. It had dry seasoning on it, which I was taking
Very
it back
big
a little
difference.
bit. Yeah. Before it would always be glazed in a barbecue sauce, so I was wondering what's going on. However, I did get a side of barbecue sauce on there.
Ooh, that barbecue sauce was good. It was
And that was really good.
It was different from what they had to offer on the table itself.
Right, very different
And
too.
it was different from the sauces that was on the pork.
It
and
had
the
a bit of a
brisket.
kick to it.
It was nice.
A
That sauce
bit of a
was
hickory
nice.
taste to it. I really liked it a lot. That being said, the rib tips, I think because they didn't have sauce on them before, they were a little bit dry. I did have some hard pieces to it. Granted, with rib tips, I feel like it's expected to get some of those harder pieces on the top.
Correct.
But I think the glaze, when I got it previously, I think that helped out a lot.
So you're saying that you prefer the glaze over the dry?
I think just for moisture's sake, talking about moisture.
Yes. Moisture's sake, yes.
Yes, so I did have a lot of pieces that that were kind of tough to eat
I
because
agree.
and it was tough to go down because of the fact that it was dry. And I did feel like the dry seasoning, they kind of just threw it on top.
It was like the piece I took from you. It was like I took one chunk, and it looked like a concentrated amount of seasoning.
Yeah, and the problem with that is there's no even spread of it.
No inconsistent bites. No inconsistent bites.
Some pieces might have none. Some pieces might have too much. In my cases, a lot of the pieces that I ate had an excessive amount of dry seasoning on it.
Yes.
And this is coming from a guy who also loves salt too.
I
thought it was very, very overwhelming.
Oh.
So yeah, I have to kick it down a few notches.
I agree.
Realistically speaking, I mean, from looking at it all together, I think the rib tip itself was still the same. You had a nice.
It's just the preparation was different.
You had a nice top and bottom that were very meaty, and a middle that was very fatty. You still had the small bits of bone in there from it being a rib tip. But yeah, overall, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed by it.
Yeah.
You want to just give your score out now?
Yeah, I'll give my score out now.
Run through it quick. Because he had more.
I would say 3.5 squids.
3.5.
3.5.
That's actually higher than I thought you'd give it after all you said. Real quick, I had the same feelings you did. It was a little bit dry because of the dry seasoning. It was interesting, but I think I would prefer the sauced version.
The old style.
The old style. Though the sauce on the side was good, I just wish they used that as a base instead. I think it would have made the rib tips quite a few steps better.
It wouldn't be as dry.
Exactly. So that being said, I'm gonna give it 3.2.
I gotta say that thing was the least favorites of all the stuff we tried, and it was super dry. 2.5.
Yeah, okay, I didn't revise my score. I think 3.5 is being a little bit lenient. I think I'm going to go with 3. 3 squids.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So do your regular ribs real quick.
I got regular ribs.
Regular ribs.
Ooh, they were good.
Yeah, you
I gotta say, I bit into it. Had a very good first bite, second bite, and third bite, and it was perfectly sauced well. And you know, a rib is good when you have to use the wet nap afterwards, and I did. So, let me just quickly give my score since I was the one that ate most of it. I would say 4.3 squids.
Wow,
4.3. It was very good. Very good. St. Louis ribs. Three ribs. I shared one with you guys. That was a mistake. I should have eaten all 3. But yeah, very good.
Size. Pretty good size.
I'll do mine real quick too. The piece that I ate from you, Bo Chow, that you put on the plate. I did not get a good piece. That was my fault because I think I was getting.
You ate it after. Well, you ate it after a while.
Very end.
Because I forgot about it, and then at the end I was like, "Man, I'm full too. I can't eat much." So the piece that I took, it wasn't like the meaty side of the rib. It was like the other side of the rib, which was not as meaty. It was more skin.
The back part.
The back part. I think I made a mistake.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna give it a score because I didn't have the right piece.
You also have to kind of eat a whole rib too.
Yeah,
like you have to chomp it. Like you know.
So because of that, I didn't get a good piece, and that was my own fault. I didn't get a meaty part.
You want to avoid the?
I'm not gonna give it a score.
So I'm gonna give a quick rundown of it too. Bo Chow graciously gave us a piece of his rib. I thought I'm gonna give it 4. I thought it was a very, very solid rib. With the little amount that I know about ribs, you don't want it to easily fall apart. Anyone can do that. You're basically steaming the meat and then it just falls apart. That is not the sign of a good rib. The thing is that the meat stuck onto the bone. It was sauced really well. Had a nice smoky taste. It wasn't too dry. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. I think it was pretty solid.
I think if you guys get the ribs in the future, you wouldn't regret it. To be honest, it was done very well. Turkey chicken, real quick. Sauce was great. Meat was very tender, even though it was white meat. I don't know if they have the option to choose dark meat. If there was, I probably should have chosen.
It looked like a sizable piece of chicken too.
It was good. I crushed it.
It was best and a wing.
Yep.
I should have checked if they had dark meat available because I love me some dark meat.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm gonna say 4.1 for the chicken. It was a very good piece of chicken. I wish you guys would try some, but you guys aren't chicken guys.
Yeah.
For me, as a chicken lover, you know, I gotta say it was good. It was
chicken lover 101.
I honestly, the 2 best things I had on my plate were the chicken
and the ribs.
Ribs.
Yeah, it sounds like
So I gotta say those were my 2 best meats.
Is that to assume that that's the 2 things to stick by?
If you, I don't know how much you guys were loving your piece of the meat. Well, I think the only stuff besides that, the only thing we're missing were catfish. So out of those 5 meats, honestly, I can say I tried all your guys' meat. Yeah, I would say I would go with ribs.
Pretty much had almost everything.
The
other stuff is, I feel like the catfish that they had and the chicken tenders, that's whatever because it's fried. Yeah. That doesn't count. It's fried.
Right.
You know,
I would
that's a
say,
different section.
yes,
That's a
I would
different
say
category
of
altogether.
all the meat we've tried, I gotta say, if I would go back again, I would get ribs and chicken.
Oh, that sounds good, man. All right.
I would say just keep in mind about the brisket too. Although it wasn't one of the higher rated ones, it was still pretty solid.
I think so.
I would, if you're looking for something that is brisket or like a softer meat, I would stand by that and consider it.
Okay, so
Sides.
biggest thing about barbecue is sides. Sides make
you can't eat all meat, baby.
make or break a good barbecue. So we had a ton of sides. I think we
this
had
helped.
5 or 6 different
We'll
sides.
run these through pretty quick too.
Okay.
This is getting pretty long. So
do we want to do a grade for sides overall or individual?
Individual. We had to do
So real
individual.
quick, fries, French fries. They changed the fries. It's not wedges anymore. It's regular.
not well
thick cut
seasoned.
fries.
Yeah, seasoned. So it's just strip
It's
or-
still fried decently. I'm gonna give it 3.1.
kind of bland. I agree. It didn't come really salted. If anything, they skimped out on the salt. I would give it a 3 also.
I'd say 3, 3.5 with sauce. If you get, you know, put
I
some-
did
your
use the
favorite-
sauces for the fries
Yeah,
predominantly.
I would say with sauce if you get 3.5 because a great mixture.
Okay. What's next?
Cornbread? Cornbread?
Do it at
Cornbread.
the end.
Yeah, let's do
cornbread.
cornbread.
Cornbread,
Let's
yeah.
cornbread.
Cornbread is what I remember to be. It's like it's a muffin essentially. Cornbread
corn
muffin.
muffin.
And like any good muffin, the top is the best. The middle part, the bottom part, it's like I said in Seinfeld.
Yep.
Even the homeless people don't want the bottoms. But that being said, cornbread is cornbread, and I do love cornbread. And I saved the bottom part for lunch tomorrow.
Sure you did.
Cornbread, I gave it a solid 3.7 because I love cornbread. It's simple, and like I said, the muffin tops in conjunction with delicious cornbread just made the experience even better.
Andy?
I'm gonna give it 3.5. I thought the top was really, really moist. You had a bit of a buttery taste in it too.
That's right.
However, it's just a cornbread muffin. It's not anything special. So
Shit.
See,
yeah.
I'm gonna give it 3.5 now.
I've got to go low because
You took a little bit of
I
it,
took
yeah.
a bite, but I gotta say, I was hitting that thing with my fork.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted it to be much crispier.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of like in that in-between state
It
where
is one of those products that
it was.
It's one of
I
those
don't know.
products where it will
So,
be different from visit to visit.
It's true, but I feel like you either get something really moist or you get something like with a
Crispy.
bigger crust.
I do like that crustiness.
So
of
I gotta say,
bread.
I don't like that in between where it's like half moist, half.
It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, it's gotta be one or the other. So I gotta say, 2.5 is not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all as a cornbread.
I think
honestly,
because when it's a
with-
muffin, especially like a small
Yes.
muffin, you expect to be a better
But the
texture,
top,
a
yes,
crispier
that
texture.
too, and I feel like with
understand.
our meal, we should have gotten something way moistier.
I understand.
That would have fit the meal much
I
better.
understand.
So
Gotcha.
2.5 squids for me.
Okay.
Next thing is
Me and Andy had mac and cheese.
Okay,
mac and
It
cheese.
was like a jalapeno mac and cheese or pepper mac and cheese.
Jalapeno and corn mac
yeah.
and cheese.
Corn? Okay.
Um,
Pretty solid. I like the pepper. I like the jalapeno in it. It gives a nice, good bite. It plays nice with the cheese, like spicy and cheese kind of plays nice together in my opinion. I'm gonna give it a 3.6, 3.5, 3.5,
3.5.
Solid. It's a solid mac and cheese. If you want mac and cheese, you won't be. I don't think you'd be disappointed.
all right, for me, I'm actually gonna give it a 4.
Oh, you really liked it.
I'm a big fan of mac and cheese. I'm a big fan of shitty mac and cheese. So
This is
these
true.
guys know that I
This
really like.
motherfucker loves Stouffer's.
I
and
love
shit
Stouffer's
bullshit
mac
like
and
that.
cheese.
Oh
I
my
really
god,
do.
the
I have a
craft.
soft spot in my
My
heart.
god, it's like eating.
That being said,
Adam's
it was,
Velveeta mac and cheese, baby. That's
Velveeta's
where it
way
was
better.
at.
yeah,
than, like,
I mean, it was
craft.
very reminiscent of Stouffer's.
No,
I
it's
do-
not. It's better than stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it is better. It is a step above it, but it's still reminiscent of it.
If it was Stouffer's, I would have given that like a 1.5. I'll be honest. If it was Stouffer's, I'd give it a 1.5.
If you bake Stouffer's and then added bits of
Who
corn
the
and
fuck is gonna
jalapeno-
bake Stouffer's,
I'm
dog?
just saying.
It's Stouffer's for the
still-
stove!
We got time for that.
It's still reminiscent of it. Anyways,
Okay, okay.
that being said, I think the addition of the corn and the jalapenos in it was really good, so I'm gonna give it a 4.
I think if you didn't have the corn and the jalapenos, it would be much lower.
Yeah, I agree.
It does help a lot.
I'll be honest, I didn't like it a lot. The cheese felt too runny for me, the bite I tasted, so it didn't stick to the macaroni well enough. Two squids.
It wasn't running,
Two
but okay.
squids.
Uh,
I don't know, the bite I had was kind of runny.
Mashed potatoes.
Garlic mashed potatoes.
I'll go with quick. I know you love your garlic mashed potatoes. It was a fine execution of mashed potatoes. I tried Andy's cold mashed potatoes and then the steaming. hot
Okay, no.
mashed potatoes.
Whoa, first of all, we have to go back a little bit. Andy got hit with the
It was.
I don't
it was
even know what to
extremes.
call
It was
it.
extremes. I got cold mashed potatoes.
Okay,
I
no,
was that
see,
guy. I was that guy.
well,
I asked them.
I have
take
to
it back.
differ. Your mashed potatoes were not cold.
But they
It
were
was room temp.
lukewarm.
It was
They were
It was
room
more like room
temperature.
temp, lukewarm. Yes.
Yeah. So you can tell they had been sitting.
Which for mashed potatoes, you do want it hot. You want it warm.
Okay, so I have.
Because when mashed potatoes get cold, especially when it has like butter in it, that butter like it fucking freezes up. It's not good when it's
it
cold.
solidifies the potato and
Yeah.
you get chunks and it's not
It's
good.
not it loses the creamy texture.
So I was that guy, and I did let him know. The waiter came by and asked how everything was. And I let him know that my mashed potatoes were kind of cold. So he was like, "Okay, I'll get you a new one." All right, so he came back.
Quick, too.
I'd say like 2 minutes later.
Quick.
With another scoop of mashed potatoes.
Show us.
This time, I kind of could tell they were microwaved or something because the outside was still kind of cold, but the inside was like burning hot. It was so freaking hot, so you could tell they definitely heated it in the microwave.
Dangerous.
All that heat was trapped in the center of it.
Yep.
That being said, I give it a 3.5.
I'm gonna give it a 3.4.
You guys are crazy. So
Well, you fucking made it.
that
fucking
mashed
cold at 2,
potatoes,
but okay.
that mashed potatoes is the best thing ever. One, it tastes just like how I remembered it, and
Okay.
two, there's nowhere else you can get garlic mashed potatoes that good. Sucks to be Andy. Sorry, my mashed potatoes came out perfect.
Both shots mashed potatoes did come out much
Sorry,
better.
mine came out fresh, warm,
And it
tasted great.
was the right
I
temperature.
hit that right temperature. I hit that with the sauce, and I ate it regularly. It was banging. And then I ate Andy's. I don't care if it was microwaved. Still tasted great. So I gotta say,
Did you polish off his
I
mashed
didn't
potatoes?
polish it off because
Okay.
that was like
It
the
was so
tail
full.
end
It
of
was
the
the
meat.
tail end,
But I polished off a good portion
Yeah.
of it, a respectable portion. I gotta say, 4.7 squids.
And there's good-
There's not that much more you can do.
Wow.
Maybe extra garlic. Honestly, my only complaint would be lack of garlic. I need more garlic. If it had more garlic, 5 easily.
How excited he is!
Okay, let me give
Okay.
a quick revision then. I'm sticking with my 3.5 for mine. I will agree with Bochaz though. I did eat a piece of his, and I would
It was
give it a
better.
4.
No.
His was a 4.
Ooh, 4,
It was
okay.
very solid, very good garlicky taste.
Nice.
I thought it was a little bit dry. You know, I would want a more creamy.
It was
one.
a little, yeah.
I would want a little.
It was
bit
very,
more creaminess.
it was
to
like potatoey.
But
You
it
know
was,
what I mean?
Yeah,
it was
still good.
potatoey.
It was still good. So I'm
The
gonna
sauce is
give,
there.
I'm gonna give Bochaz.
You
4.
fucking okay.
Okay, so what's next? Coleslaw.
Coleslaw.
Three squids for me.
3.
Coleslaw.
3 is fine.
Yeah.
It's run of the mill.
Uh-huh.
It's a cutter.
What else did we have? I guess I had corn. I mean,
Corn's
it was corn.
I'm not
That was
gonna-
actually pretty good corn. I'll be
It was kinda
honest.
dry.
No, it wasn't dry. See, that was the thing. It wasn't
Less.
dry. I would actually give the corn probably like a 3.7
Yeah.
squids.
Yeah, okay.
Corn 3.7.
That's fair.
Do we have anything else? Baked beans. I baked
You didn't.
beans.
you didn't
I
have
didn't
baked
try
beans.
it.
I don't think any of you
I
guys
didn't
tried,
try
but there was
some,
actually
no.
pieces, chunks
forgot
of
I had it.
meat in there. 3.8 squids. They were both very good. Do we want to give a score overall sides and
You got the
everything?
bread pudding too.
No,
No,
you said
that's
overall on
the
the
dessert.
sides though.
Oh, the
Overall on
sides.
You're
Overall on
jumping the
sides?
shark, jumping the-
3. I'm gonna give it a solid 3.7. I think good all around. I think for the most part, you will not be disappointed by what you get.
I think we know like what sides we want in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah.
Definitely.
We know what to avoid. That's the thing. Like
I would probably avoid fries.
You
to
do
be
have-
honest.
yeah.
Fries
Yeah.
is I could
Fries
go
was
without
a staple
fries.
back then, especially with our less developed taste buds.
well, it changed.
Safe choice.
If it was wedges, then it's great.
Yeah.
I don't even
But-
think wedges are that great to be honest.
I'm not a big fan of wedges too, but I do remember Famous Dave wedges being better.
All
Are
right,
they like the
so-
really dark kind?
It was.
No,
It wasn't dark, but it
they're
was
dark.
fried well, and it was nice. It had
Nice season.
The thing it had nice seasoning, and it was ridged.
Mm.
All
Oh
right.
yes, I
The
do.
ridge
I'm
remember
giving
that.
sides
makes,
3.75.
I gotta say my sides were great. 4.2 squids.
okay.
For sides.
All right. So towards the end of our meal, we were really full, but the guy convinced us to get the
That
bread pudding.
yo, that guy had great salesman
Yeah, he was a good guy.
skills.
He had a good pitch. He said the bread pudding had won more awards than any of the food. So, you know, even though we were completely full, we were sold on it just like that. Didn't take very much convincing.
We
so
also
ended up getting the
did
bread pudding.
crush that bread.
I will
pudding.
say that as a dessert, I never really opt to choose bread pudding.
Right.
I never grew up eating bread pudding, so bread pudding is not really something I.
That's not really like
know
an
well
Asian
of.
thing.
It's
we
not an
we,
Asian
we
thing at all.
like we eat our
Uh,
Asian stuff, or we would eat even American
Like
stuff. But it
bread
would never
pudding is
be
like
bread
very,
pudding.
bread pudding is very. It's a niche Southern dish.
It's like a Christmas thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like more of a
Like,
Christmas
they
thing.
use like old bread essentially,
Yeah.
like what, some kind of like custard or cream or something. I forget how it's done, but it was good. But my issue with the bread pudding was that temperature-wise, it was inconsistent. Like some parts were kind of warm, other parts were a little cooler, and then like some of the parts that you had that I had a piece of was like piping hot, which was the best part.
You think? Okay, so my reasoning on that is because depending on which side that you ate from, you gotta remember they came with a scoop of ice cream. That scoop of ice cream chills the surrounding area, and in turn, that sauce, that cooler sauce, will cool down.
That's true because the other side of the ice cream of the bread pudding was like the ice cream, bread pudding, and that side on the other side of the bread pudding, the furthest away from the ice cream, was the hottest part of the whole thing, and that part was a great part.
So
it was
bread
good.
pudding, some whipped cream, and a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
It was a nice ice cream too.
Yeah,
like it was very vanilla-y.
Mm-hmm.
Like that really tinted yellow vanilla, like vanilla ice cream, which is nice. Quickly, I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna have to give it a 3.6. I had to knock it down because the inconsistencies of the temperature. I understand Andy's point, but I don't know.
Man, your taste buds suck. Dude.
I don't know. I'm particular. I'm very particular about these things.
Well, how would you do that then? How would you present the dish then?
I don't know.
Ice cream on top.
Separately.
Ice cream on top will make the whole thing
Oh, that's
cooler
fucking
overall.
right. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but it would,
no, take it back.
would be consistent.
No, take it back. Because I do think about those delicious morsels of heat.
Okay, we gotta go
And
into.
it was.
We gotta go.
I'll give it 4.1.
What we gotta go into more of the delicious morsel part. This was like a darker spot.
It was.
On
It was
the
like,
back of the bread pudding. I'm gonna see if I can find this on the video again when I first took the
That's
picture.
right.
I don't know why I decided to eat it, but it looked very tantalizing. I took a scoop. Oh my god!
It's like anything. Like the corners of things is like the best parts.
Amazing. I was like, China, you gotta try this.
So
you got the rest.
Did you say it was like, let's say there's a tin or like a tray for it? It was like on the edge.
If it was just, if they give me bread
so.
pudding and just like give me the outer edge, you guys
You'll
take
get
the
that.
middle. I'll take the outer edge. That would be clean.
So if the whole thing was like that, ooh, that would be like a solid like 4.8.
That is just.
But
amazing.
it wasn't, so that's why I had to knock it out. So, but I'll move my what I said 3.6 or 3.7 before.
I think you had like a 4.1, didn't you?
Yeah, no, that's what I had previously, but I'm changing it to 4.1.
Okay, Andy.
Because
I'm giving it a 4.5. I thought, I mean, the guy convinced us. He says, you know, there's always room for this.
He said, you won't regret it, which we didn't.
And we didn't. I liked it a lot. I didn't think it was too heavy, even with like the caramel sauce on top and stuff like that. It wasn't thick.
It was a light
bit
sauce.
runny.
Yeah. That's why it wasn't so bad. It was
very
like
light.
it was like the heavy version. It would be overkill.
I did like the custardy bottom part of it. I thought that was really, really good.
Yes.
The raisins in it were very plump and moist, and I thought the pecans or whatever that were on top, that added a good nuttiness to it. I thought it was a very, very solid dessert. I'm giving it a 4.5.
I would say I didn't expect to like it that much, but that specific one did have a great flavor. So I would say 4.4 squids for that one. Now this is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Oh.
Toilet time.
Toilet time.
And we have the inventor of toilet time, the person who first came up with the idea.
Yes.
Is Mr. Onesies right here.
Mr. Onesies Sauce King.
Sauce King, aka Sauce King, aka East Coast Molasses Boy.
So I went in to wash my hands after. You go in through the door, sink to your right immediately, a urinal that has like a small division next to it, and one stall. So really tiny bathroom.
So at most 2 people can go to the bathroom.
Correct.
That's important.
Well, 3.
For me,
1 to wash their hands, 1 to pee, and 1 to pee.
3?
Washing hands doesn't count.
Wait, why is one person washing their hands while the other 2 people are
I mean, some people
peeing?
just want to wash their hands. Some people don't need to pee or poop or do that. So.
That's fine. How many sinks?
Huh?
How many sinks?
1 sink.
Okay.
1 sink.
So it sounded relatively small.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a pretty small bathroom. It was clean. One thing I really, really liked is at the urinal itself, there wasn't like this pee puddle right there.
Yeah,
that's a very big thing that happens in public restrooms. It's recurring.
I always tend to like be very far
and you have to split your legs. And I think what happens is when people pee, at the end of it, a little bit drips out and dribbles out onto the floor. And I specifically looked out for that, and it was actually dry. So that was a pleasant surprise.
That's very good.
Yeah. I looked in the stall. It was well stocked. There was a piece of paper towel that was on the floor. So I thought that was just whatever. Soap was stocked really well.
So we do rate it out of toilet papers, and you can toilet paper rolls, and you can throw some bars of soap in that joint if you want.
All right. For a bathroom, that's very straightforward, especially at a chain restaurant. I would give it out of 5 toilet papers. A 3.75. Yep.
Overall, final overall rating.
I will say, overall, the nostalgic factor it does play a part for me, and in its favor. I think if you piece things out individually, some items will be better than others, and some that might be avoided, and things that we used to get, I think I might possibly avoid in the future, to be honest. That being said, I'm gonna give it a 3.8, but with these cool fucking hats that we got.
If you guys haven't noticed, we got hats.
This some bitch is going up to 4.0 though. So 4.0 for these pig hats. Oh!
I just want to give my thoughts on the restaurant. I would say about the barbecue, yes, it was like there's so many other places that are much worse. And we don't really have like that big of a choice.
We don't have options.
For the barbecue I've tasted in this area in my life, I gotta say it was probably a 4.3 squids with 9 tentacles. 9 tentacles.
Fucking tentacles.
So overall, I think it was a great experience. I mean,
I was happy we did this.
Yeah.
I was happy that I chose this. I'll be honest, I chose this. I pushed it.
I think this is like one of the restaurants you can go back to multiple times.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's something about it. I mean, maybe because we have a connection and like an emotional connection that is very nostalgic. And this is where we spent our like young adult lives. Like this is one of our places we always ate at. This is what it was. Yep. And I don't regret that decision at all. And I do remember I did have my birthday here one year. It was my 21st birthday. They gave me ice cream and I drank liquor that night. And I guess the liquor and the ice cream didn't mix, so I threw up. Like, then the party was over. That was it. Like, that was literally it. It was bad.
Weak man.
Yep.
Or weak man back then. Okay. So I think overall, I gotta say,
open my stomach, bro.
I gotta say we had a very good time today.
Very happy. I'm very happy we did this.
Next time, we've got some special places in mind for our next show.
Maybe not. I don't think we'll do a chain the next time.
I think we're gonna try to find something less known, even though we said that last podcast, last video slash,
yes, whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, so we'll definitely look for something less well known and try it out. I mean, we've got at least 3 or 4 places in mind.
Yep.
And we might have Molasses Boy back again, or we might have some of our other special guests. They're all secret, guys. You never know who's gonna be in here.
Mr. Lacking Bone Density. What the fuck his name was?
Mr. Bonitis, bro. His only regret is that he has bonitis. Come on. Yeah, we've got tons of secret guests we can line up.
The only friend we mentioned is Mr. Bonitis.
Okay, well,
Mr. Buddha Bones himself.
Well, you know who you are.
Broken knees.
But you're gonna be welcome. Next time we hit up, you know where. You're gonna be on there.
Abraham Lincoln.
Lemon.
Okay, so I think we're good.
Creaky knees, Doug. What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, thank you, Andy, for stopping by, and we'll see you guys next time.
It's Squid Kids. Signing out.